All right, so let's take a look at this multiple record-breaking year for the Titans. Will Levis, 5,583 yards passing with 58 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. He has had an amazing season. Then we have Frank Gore Jr. with 1,632 yards, 9 touchdowns. Tajay Spears with 1,037 yards, 12 touchdowns. And Will Levis with 325 and 7 touchdowns. So almost 6,000 yards, but well over 60 touchdowns. That is an awesome season by Will Levis. Marvin Harrison Jr., 2,200 yards and 20 touchdowns. Okonkwo right behind him, 1,200 yards, almost 1,300 yards, 19 touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins just over 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. And then, of course, Burks with a measly 420 yards, 3 touchdowns. Defensively, Monte Rice, 108 tackles, 95 tackles by Tyke Smith, 94 tackles by Hooker, and 90 by Peyton Wilson. But tackles for a loss, Peyton Wilson with 27 and 21 by Monte Rice. Peyton Wilson and Monte Rice also the leader in sacks, 13 and 11.5. But Christian Fulton with 14 interceptions for the season. Caleb Farley with 9, Tyke Smith with 6, McCreary with 5. I mean, our defense was amazing. All right, let's look at kicking. Riley Patterson, 27 for 28. 57-yarder was his longest, and 54 for 55 extra points. So far, this has been a fantastic season. Can we seal it off with a Super Bowl? Who knows? Yearly awards, Will Levis winning MVP. Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel, for being undefeated. You go undefeated, I think you deserve it. Marvin Harrison Jr., Offensive Player of the Year. Christian Fulton, Defensive Player of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Marvin Harrison Jr. Frank Gore Jr. was just behind him. Defensive Rookie of the Year was Peyton Wilson. Tyke Smith just behind him. QB, Will Levis, you got to give it to the MVP. Running back, none of my guys. I mean, we had Tajay and Frank Gore in the top 10. Okay, that's pretty cool. Marvin Harrison, best wide receiver, of course. Couldn't give it to anybody else. We actually had an offensive lineman win Player of the Year. He's only like a 75 overall, so it was very funny that he won it. And then absolutely no defensive lineman because we barely had any sacks. Peyton Wilson, best linebacker in the nation. Monte Rice was right behind him. Christian Fulton, best defensive back in the nation. Best kicker should have been Riley Patterson. He had a great season. All right, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe. That was the stats from the year.